Hello, my little yarnivores. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you this oh so classic and lovely stitch, the Catherine wheel. And there are a number of variations on this stitch, and this is just one of many, and I wanted to share it with you. So of course you're going to need two different colors of yarn. Now I cannot stress this enough that even if a skein of yarn says that it's a worsted weight, a number 4 weight, not all number 4s are created equal. So what I would strongly suggest is that when you are doing this stitch, that you use the same brand. Seriously, I've had this problem before where it says, oh yeah, it's a 4. Well, Simply Soft, Caron Simply Soft is a 4, but it is much thinner than, say, like a Caron 1 pound. Just trust me on this one. So you're going to need two contrasting colors. And for this, I used a size I crochet hook. Now, you can use your typical crochet hook. Also, another alternative is to use an Afghan hook, otherwise known as a Tunisian crochet hook, because we're going to need to pick up a lot of loops in order to create some of these stitches. So this may be something that will help you. Just putting it out there as a suggestion. To each their own, whatever makes you most comfortable, of course. So I'm going to use some Red Heart Super Saver, same yellow, different purple, and we'll get into it. All right, be back in a flash. Alrighty, so we're going to start with a base chain, of course. Now this one is in multiples of 10. Then you need to add 6. And for the base chain, you need to add another 1. So what I did was, this is a base chain of 27. So it's a multiple of 10 plus the 6 plus the 1, so I have 27. Now, of course, if you're doing a blanket, you can do as many as you want. Just be sure that it is a multiple of 10 plus the additional 7, all right? So I did my 27 off camera so as not to bore you to tears. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by doing a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Easy peasy. And then we are going to do a single crochet into the next. Oh my god, this is so hard, no? All right, so we got our 2 single crochets. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to skip 3 chains. So it's 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th chain, we are going to do 7 double crochets into that 4th chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. And then, okay, we're going to skip another 3. So we went into this one here. So it's 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th stitch, we're going to do another, let me see here, 3 single crochets. So it's 1 single crochet into the next 3 chains. So this is 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then we're going to basically repeating that. So you skip 3 chains again, 1, 2, 3, going into the 4th. We do 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, yes, of course, I need some more yarn. Naturally, the drama. All right, and then we're going to skip 3 more chains down here. So that's 1, 2, 3 into the 4th. You do 3 more stitches, a single crochet into each. Alrighty, and now we are at the last 4 chains. Now, when you reach the last 4, you're going to skip 3 chains. You're going to skip 3 chains and you're going to do 4 double crochets into the last chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and just pull your slip knot just a little bit snug. And this is the end of the first row, the foundation row. So it should look something like this. And don't worry that it's not symmetrical. It'll make sense later, all right? And we're going to go on to row 2. Okay. Alrighty, so now for row 2, we are going to be swapping colors. So now to do that, I'm going to just pull this out just a smidgen and then reinsert my hook. And so we're going to finish this double crochet stitch, that last double crochet stitch, with our new thread. So going to cut the yellow, and we're going to continue on with the purple. Of course, choose whatever colors that suit your fancy. And so leaving a bit of a tail, and then finishing up that double crochet with the new yarn. Now, this pattern initially I thought was going to be really daunting because I'm like, oh my dear God, I'm going to have to sew in all of these ends at the end of every 2 rows. Don't you worry, I've got that covered, you know. All right, so now this is my working yarn. These are my tails down here. No big deal. All right, so what we're going to do is just make sure that initial yellow yarn, in my case, is a little bit taut. And so we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn the work. Okay. And, oh, excuse me. Hope I'm not getting sick again. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take these tails here, not the initial chain tail, but these 2 tails, and we're going to crochet over them so that we won't have to sew them in later. This will be a little bit tricky to follow, but it is so worth it in the end. Believe you me. So basically we're going to go underneath these 2 tails here, and we're going to go into that first single crochet stitch, and we're going to complete the single crochet stitch like so, and those 2 tails are inside of that stitch. And then we're going to do another one. The first one's always the trickiest, but we do another single crochet stitch, trapping those yarn ends in there. And then here comes the potential tricky stitch. This is a cluster. It's a cluster over the next 7 stitches, okay? And this is with double crochets, alrighty? So to start that, we're going to do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do double crochets into the next 7 stitches, but we're not going to finish them so that we're going to make the cluster. So basically how that works is you yarn over, you go into the next stitch, being sure to go over your yarn tails. And so that's 1 unfinished double crochet. So we've got our chain here, 1 unfinished, and we need 6 more. So it's a total of 7, which means a total of 8 loops on our hook. So going into the next one. So that's 2 unfinished, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. Okay, so as you can see, the initial one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, here's the tricky part. You need to pull the yarn through all 8 of those loops. This is why I suggested you may want to use a Tunisian, aka Afghan hook. So pulling through all of these, and you don't want too much tension going on there. And then we have done our cluster. Rock on. All right, so after we do the cluster, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now those tails are all crocheted in there. Just drape them along the back. You can cut them at any time, but I'll show you what I'm going to do before I cut them. So after you do the chain 3, what you do is you do a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So that's not in here, but right in here. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to chain up 3 again. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do another cluster, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we pull through all 8 loops. Again, this does take a little bit of practice, but as you know, it is so worth it. And I hit a bit of a snag, so all right, I have to fix that, but I'll do it off camera, okay? I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I managed to fix that. Sorry about that. And so we pulled through all of them, all of the 8 loops on the hook, and then we again do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then into the next 3 stitches we do a single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, need some more yarn. Okay, and then, all right, so we are to the last 4 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do a cluster over the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we pull through all 5 loops on the hook. And there you go. That's the end of row 2. And you do not want to cut your yarn yet because we need to do the top part of this Catherine wheel. All right, so I'm going to stop the camera and then we'll do row 3. All right, so before we start row 3, let's do a little backtrack here. Now we have these tails here that we worked over. Now what I like to do is I like to pull them a little bit taut. Yes, it bunches up, but then stretch it out as if it were normally laying flat, and then I cut them. Picks up the slack a little bit, and then I snip, and then there you go. No sewing in events. It's a fabulous world we live in, isn't it? All right, so now for row 3, we're going to start with a chain up of 3. 1, 2, 3. Return the work. All right. And then, since that's going to count as the first double crochet, we're going to do 3 double crochets into the first stitch. Now, maybe a little tricky to see, but actually it's right in here, this space here. So that's 3 double crochets into that stitch. That's 2 and 3. Okay. And then we're going to skip the 3 chains right in here. Okay. We're going to skip those, and then we're going to do a single crochet into each of the next 3 single crochet stitches. So just pop right into here. So that's 1, 2, and 3. All right. Okay. And then we're going to skip these 3 right in here, these 3 chains, and then we're going to do 7 double crochets into the center space. And basically that's right in here. All right, right in there. We're going to do 7 double crochets. And you're actually finishing them this time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Then to close up the Catherine wheel, what we're going to do is we're going to skip the 3 chains here, and then into those single crochets from before, we're going to do 3 single crochets, and that's going to close up the wheel. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Ta-da! All right, and a little bit more yarn. And then we're skipping these 3 on that chain and doing 7 double crochets into that center space right into there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. And then, so we're going to skip these 3 chains again, and we're going to do a single crochet into the next 2 single crochet stitches. Alrighty. So just going into there, and the last one. Like so. All right, so that's the end of row 3. Coming along nicely, don't you think? All right, and we'll go on to row 4. All right, so I've cut my yarn already, and so we're going to do what we did before. So it's basically just pulling that yarn out just a little bit, reinserting the hook, and we're going to finish that last single crochet with our new yarn. Now, you could go back and forth between yellow and purple, yellow and purple, yellow and purple every 2 rows. However, you could also incorporate other colors. That's totally up to you, but I just like to go with simplicity. All right, so grabbing our new tail of color, finishing up that last single crochet, making sure that the last one is a little bit taut. And then for row 4, we're going to chain up 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. Turn the work, and again, we're going to work over these tail bits here. So we chained up 3, and that's going to count as our first double crochet, and we're going to skip the first stitch, and we're going to then do a cluster over the next 3 stitches, okay? So we're skipping this one here that we were just in, and we're going to go 1, 2, and 3, okay? So wrapping the yarn, putting these towards the back so they're not quite in the way, but we are going to crochet over them. So going into, actually it might be easier if I do it like this, just so that you can see better. So going not into the first one, but into the second one. Right in there. All right, and not finishing the double crochet because this is a cluster of 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then we pull through. Okay, there we are. All right, so after we do the cluster over the next 3, we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then let me see here. We do a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So that's right in there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right, then let me just see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, okay, good. I'm on the right track. All right, so I single crocheted over the next 3 stitches. Then we chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do another cluster over the next 7 stitches. See, why I was counting before is there is the middle single crochet there. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, if that middle one is the 4th, you know you're on the right track, because I've gotten stuck before and I do not wish to get stuck again. You know, I'm trying to learn from my experience here. All right, so we're going to do another 7 cluster. So that is going through. So that's 1. And 2. 3. 4, smack dab in the middle. 5. 6, and 7. All right, and then of course you pull through all 8 loops on your hook. All right, and now your tail ends, you can just scoot them to the back, and then you chain up 3. 1, 2, 3, and then do 3 single crochets, 1 into each of the next 3 stitches. 2 and 3. Chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Do another cluster of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Pull through all 8 loops carefully. There we are. And then, finishing this up, we're going to do a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do another 2 single crochets. And the first one is fairly obvious, right in here. The next one, a little tricky, but we can do it. And that one is into the 3rd chain, okay, right up here. Sorry, right up into here. See? And then you do your single crochet into there. Et voila! Coming along nicely. I do think so. Yes, yes. All right, and then we will do the 5th row, which is the last row. All right. All right, so we're going to do the 5th row. Now, if you like, for future reference, you can stop here, you know, where you have an unfinished Catherine wheel, if you want a flat edge for your, you know, finished piece, whether you're doing a blanket, a scarf, or what have you. You could stop here if you want a flat edge, or you could continue on with the row number 5 so that you can have a poofy edge, you know, totally up to you, by all means. All right, so this is going to be row 5. All right, and so we're going to chain 1, and then turn the work, and we're going to do a single crochet into the first 2 single crochet stitches. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. All right, so we've got our 2 single crochets there. And then we're going to skip the 3 chains here, and we're going to do 7 double crochets into that center loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we skip these 3 chains here, and we go into the next 3 single crochets with, you guessed it, 3 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we skip over these 3 chains and we do 7 more double crochets into the center. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip these 3, do 3 single crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we're going to skip these 3 chains, and we're going to do 4 double crochets into the top of the turning chain. And again, this may sound a little tricky, but we can do this. So the turning chain is right here. Yes, if it'll focus. And so it is the top of the turning chain. So that's right in here. All right. So you get underneath both loops, like so. Okay, see, it's the top of the turning chain. So we're going to do 4 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, now, if you are going to continue on in this fashion, of course, you wouldn't, finish off this double crochet. You would keep your hook into these 2 loops. You would cut this yarn and you would thread through your contrasting color. So this was row 5. So lovely. Just going to take out the hook for now. Absolutely lovely. So that was the end of row 5. Now basically the repeat for this pattern is rows 2 through 5, and you just do that over and over and over. Again, if you want this bubbly edge on the top, you would end on row 5. If you don't, end on row 4. Totally up to you. And of course, you incorporate different colors. Really, it's totally up to you, and that's what makes it great, because it's your unique design. It's what you do, right? So listen, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed doing it, because I love doing this stuff. It's what I live for. And if you have any questions or comments, please, comment down below. If you liked it, please hit like. If you didn't, and if you have some constructive criticism, please let me know, because I always want to make, excuse me, I always want to make these videos great for you guys, and it is my passion. It's what I do. And if you want to see more, please hit subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I try to post as often as I can. And until the next video, stay caffeinated, stay inspired, and above all, keep stitching. I'll see you guys next time, and you have a great, great day. Bye for now.